Hey guys, today I'm here to do a quick Tiffany's Tell All video. The question that I've been getting a lot lately is it really worth it to build our house by ourselves? How much money am I really saving? And the simple answer to that is it's a huge cost savings, and it is totally worth it to build our own home based on the square footage that we're getting out of our house. So if you haven't been with us for a while, you won't know that we sold our house across town to move here closer to mom and dad, and we ended up getting on the same street. It's a quiet dead-end road with a beach down the street, and it's a beautiful area. It's a street that everybody looks to buy on, and we just happened to get this piece of property in a really good time. I saw it on the market and went for it for a really good price as well. So before we even moved, I actually spent a year or 2 years planning this, and I wanted to make sure that we could afford it before we even decided to sell our home. So I actually sat down and did a huge spreadsheet, and I have shown this in the past, but a huge spreadsheet, and this is multiple pages. I want to say like 10 pages. I priced out what the land would be, I priced out what the house would cost, everything down to the last nail, and what I would want in my house, what type of fixtures. Okay, sorry, I had to move locations because Diesel was growling at our next door neighbors. There's a little cottage, I've shown it in videos, but they're redoing that whole thing, so there's people in and out of there constantly lately. He wouldn't stop growling, so I came into the house. Obviously, you can see it's pretty dark, but so what I was saying was, I chose like light fixtures and things in my house that I could switch out later on. So I would choose the cheapest light fixture I can, and then later on when we have the money, I would upgrade it to something that I would really like. That goes for some of the things in my house. Things like tile and hardwood flooring, obviously I'm going to choose what I want now so that you don't have to replace it later, because that's a huge cost to replace. So anyways, going through my price list, the most we wanted to spend on property was about $50,000. We were willing to go a little bit higher if there was something that we really wanted, but we wanted to stay around the 50,000 mark. And this property we bought for $40,000. So we were under budget, or right on budget basically, for the property right away, which was awesome. We were actually looking at 5 acres for $35,000 just around the corner, but once again, it was around the corner across town, and we really wanted to be on the street. And something kept telling me, like, why don't I want this piece of property? It's amazing, it's 5 acres, it's really cheap, and why can't I go for it? And it's basically just because of location. And now obviously where we are, land is very cheap as it is, so that's great. I mean, we are on a very sought after street, and we got it for $40,000. Now the property just behind us right here sold for $70,000, which is a huge cost difference. We just happened to get it at the right time, and yeah, it worked great. Now, our actual house build, I went through, like I said, and priced out everything down to the last nail. I wanted to be sure that we could afford this house. I knew how much we were going to roughly make on our house that we sold, which we actually ended up selling for a lot more and sold for list price. I'll have a couple videos linked below that you can go watch if you haven't been around since we sold our house back 2 years ago, but we ended up selling for list price and made a lot more money than what we had thought. So basically, for numbers wise, we bought our property for $40,000, and we were hoping to keep our build cost around $210,000. So that totals us $250,000 for the whole build and the property. We are on track with that, thankfully. I'm very careful about my numbers, and I'm very careful about finding the cheapest cost for the same products, such as, you know, lumber and insulation and roofing and all of that. So that's why I have this chart, because I actually have numbers on this, SKU numbers, so that I can go back and research the exact product that I had priced out in the beginning. Now for the cost savings by doing it ourselves. There are actually 3 builds going on this street right now. One is pretty much finished, and then the other one still has like landscaping to be done. And I know those cost a lot of money to do those. And the only way I can actually give you true numbers is based on the square footage of our home and what will be in our home. Our insurance company insures our build for a certain cost that if a contractor was to do it, if let's say my house burned down and we didn't have the means to build this again, because we've put our heart and soul into this, and and the place burnt down, my insurance company is insuring this build ours for $650,000. Obviously that is a ton of money, but that is what it would cost to build this house with the things that I want in it, with the type of heating that we have and all of that. So we're saving a ton of money. So 650,000 minus 250,000 leaves $400,000 that we're saving. So hopefully that gives you some numbers. So $400,000 is a huge cost savings, and obviously I do not have that kind of money to pay someone to do this for me. We have talked about getting certain things done by certain people, professionals, including the HVAC. The HVAC we've never really done, and we're not certified to do like a furnace install, so we would have to have that done anyways. And also now there's a whole bunch of different regulations about HRVs and just the way your house seals with your HVAC or heating system. So we're kind of staying away from our HVAC, which is something that we will be paying out for. Obviously our well we had to have drilled by someone, and then also our septic. Now our septic we could actually do ourselves. It's just really easier to go try and not jump through hoops doing it yourself and just have someone do it. So yeah, there's a couple base costs. The septic is $15,000. The HVAC is around $15,000. Our well was supposed to be roughly 10, but it's going to be probably about 15 because of how far he had to drill. He went 185 feet and we were hoping to go only 100 max, but because of where we are, he said it's just so you don't know what it's gonna be. And then plumbing, electrical, roughly $10,000 each. What I have sunk into this build so far is cash only, which is super helpful and I'm thankful for. In this build we have, I want to say roughly 100,000. That's including property cost. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about our mortgage bill, our builder's mortgage as well. I have to have our builder's insurance, the 650,000 coverage, to get a builder's loan or builder's mortgage, and our builder's mortgage amount is for 147,000. So that is what I'm hoping to have our max mortgage at. However, as most of you know, Michaela did pass away and she did have a life insurance policy. It helps us to not dip into our mortgage. As of right now, with our type of builder's mortgage, you have 9 months to complete your build once you take your first installment. And before Michaela passed, we were basically ready to tap into our mortgage and start that 9-month process. But after she passed, we quickly realized that we were not going to have this done within 9 months. We were nowhere near the progress that we were hoping to with how horrible of a winter we had. And we were thankful enough that Michaela's life insurance policy has allowed us to gain some time and money to finish more of this build before we tap into our loan. So we are hoping to only tap into our loan for $100,000, which I could not be more thankful for. So anyways, that is basically how much we are saving by doing this ourselves. So let me know in the comments below if you think it's worth it, because we do, and we wouldn't have done this if we thought it wasn't worth it. Yes, it is a heck of a lot of time and energy that goes into this, but we think that it's worth it in the end. I know the people down the street, they are done building now and they started just after us or just before us. So that kind of also gives you the time frame of how long a contractor would take to build versus what we would build. So our build may take 3 years to build, but it's going to save us more than double the cost or 2/3 of the cost. So yeah, anyways, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we will see you in our next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.